Welcome to the Bowl Season Stories podcast, Season 2, Episode 7. I'm Nick Carparelli, the Executive Director of Bowl Season, and today we are joined by former Northwestern and Notre Dame wide receiver Ben Skowronek, Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl Executive Director Jason Gannon. Today's show is brought to you by Sport Radar, reimagining immersive experiences for sports fans and bettors. Our first guest spent 4 seasons at Northwestern University before transferring for his final year to the University of Notre Dame. He was selected in the 2021 draft by the Los Angeles Rams and caught 2 passes in this past year's Super Bowl victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. We welcome to the show Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Ben Skowronek. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
As I mentioned, you spent your first years, your collegiate career with Northwestern before transferring to Notre Dame. So let's start with Northwestern. You got a chance to go to 3 bowl games there with the Wildcats, and you won all 3. The 2016 Pinstripe Bowl against Pittsburgh, 2017 Music City Bowl over Kentucky, and the 2018 Holiday Bowl over Utah. We're going to get to those games specifically, but I got to start by asking you about the culture that Coach Pat Fitzgerald has built there. The Wildcats always seem to show up to play, no matter the game or the situation.
Yeah, he's done a great job building that culture. Just thinking back, it's been a while now since I've been at Northwestern, but, just a hard hat, lunch pail type culture. You're going to come to work every day. We're going to outwork you, and we're going to show up on Saturdays. And we don't care if you're Ohio State or who it was. We're going to, compete with you. Northwestern wasn't filled with 5-star athletes like some of these other programs, but we played with physicality. We worked hard, and we ended up, like you said, during my 4 years there, 3 bowl games and 3 bowl wins. So it was quite the tenure during that stretch of years.
So we mentioned the games, and you got to go to New York City over the holidays. You got to go to Nashville, then San Diego. Pretty cool destinations. Probably destinations a lot of your teammates may have never been to in their life, or maybe will never go to in the future. Certainly not together with all of you together as a group of friends. So what do you remember about those trips, especially how you and your teammates enjoyed the experience of the overall trip?
Yeah, I just remember the excitement. You finish your last game, late November, then you have the excitement waiting for what bowl you're going to go to. And then, you get, picked for, whatever bowl it was. And we were all just so excited. It's more time you get, with the seniors, with each other, before everyone kind of parts ways and it's a new team for the following year. So all the hard work from, when it goes back to January, all the way through spring ball, through fall camp, through the season, grinding out wins to be bowl eligible, then to be selected for, bowl games. It's a special feeling. And, no matter what team you play for, getting those extra 15 practices, I think it is. And then, the extra really month together as a team. It's just a lot of fun because during that time, you're not in classes, and at Northwestern, trust me, the classes were hard. So, to be able to really just enjoy football and enjoy the brotherhood, do activities. There was always a bowl week and that we did in Chicago, and then there was a bowl week that we did, at the destination. So to have, those activities, whether it was Topgolf, dinners, stuff like that, with, your best friends, it's a lot of fun. And then you get to the destination, and a lot of times it's somewhere you've never been with, great events set up by the bowl committees and stuff like that. So, really, I just have a lot of positive memories, from those trips, those experiences, whether it's flying first class, something I've never done, before, stuff like that. But, really just a lot of positive, great memories that, I'll have forever.
Of those 3 bowl games at Northwestern, did you have a favorite? Is there any one that stood out for one reason or another?
I'd say my first one in New York City, that was super cool. I've never been, I didn't travel a bunch as a kid. Went to Florida here and there, and went to Pennsylvania to visit my dad's family. But outside of that, never really traveled too much. So to go to New York City as a kid from Indiana, it was awesome. Times Square, and they roll out the red carpet for you. So you get police escorts through New York. You get to play at Yankee Stadium. That was awesome. And then it's like Christmas time in New York City. So you've seen it in movies, you've seen it on TV, but never really experienced it in person. And to experience that was a lot of fun. And then I'd say the Holiday Bowl was up there. That was in San Diego. And once again, never been to San Diego and always have wanted to go there. And, to be in San Diego with your best friends and, just the sunshine is awesome, and I'm never going to complain about sunshine. Being a Midwest kid in the winter, so those two games, were probably my two favorite at Northwestern.
So then your senior year, you transferred to Notre Dame, which it was kind of an odd year because of COVID. Certainly not what you expected. But you, you got a chance to compete in the ACC, the only time Notre Dame's ever competed in a conference, played in that championship game. It was such a challenging year for all of us. But what was it like for you trying to compete in college football while juggling online classes, COVID tests, all of that stuff?
Yeah, it was really, kind of like what you said, it was a challenging time for everybody. And, it was no different for, us student athletes. For me personally, transferring schools, never in a million years would I have thought, oh, there's going to be a pandemic that shuts down the world for, however many months or years, whatever it ended up being. But to transfer to a new spot, no spring ball. And then, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, did I make the wrong decision transferring? Like, I'm not even going to be able to prove myself in practice. There was nothing like, hey, if you come here, you're going to be a starter. It was, hey, if you come here and you prove yourself, you're going to, have a chance to play for us. So there's no promises made during that recruitment process out of the transfer portal for me. But it was just challenging, to balance online classes at a new university, kind of being isolated. And then I think the biggest part, that people really don't like fully understand was, we get COVID tested Friday night, and then we wouldn't know until Saturday morning if it was a positive or negative test. So there's so much anxiety throughout the weeks. Like, oh my gosh, was I in close contact with so-and-so? Was I exposed? Am I going to miss 2 weeks? Because at that time, if you test positive, you're out for 14 days or really whatever the time frame is. I can't remember exactly, but there's so much anxiety with that. I can't miss, this game. This is my senior season. I need to get taped for the NFL. We need to win. We're competing for a college football playoff spot. So it was a challenging year to kind of summarize that.
On the positive side, Notre Dame earned a berth into the CFP. You guys faced Alabama in the Cotton Bowl in the semifinals. They were quite a machine that year. While you lost the game, like what was it like to compete as one of the 4 teams in the CFP? You mentioned it. You played a lot of big games, but like that game, it just must have. Did it feel different? When you took the field.
Certainly. That was part of the reason. It was a tough decision to leave Northwestern, but for me, I wanted to transfer to whatever school it was. I wanted to have an opportunity to play against the best of the best, playing the college football playoff, and have a chance to be a national champion. So to go through everything COVID wise, to battle through all that, at the start of the year we shut down for like 10 days or something crazy, and to go undefeated through the regular season, play Clemson twice, who was a very talented team with Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, who both were first round guys. And then to have the opportunity to play against Alabama in the college football playoff was, was awesome. As a competitor myself, I want to play against the best of the best. And I think they had 7 or 8 first round picks that year. So they were certainly the best team. They ended up going on to win it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to win, but it was awesome to compete on the biggest stage. That's what you want as an athlete, to compete against the best of the best.
How did that experience, and I guess all your big game experiences in college, how did that help you in preparation for a pro career?
Yeah, certainly helps you. There's certain things throughout college that prepare you for those moments in the pros, but really just the preparation. In the NFL, there's every single week you're playing against great players. No matter the team, no matter the record. If you don't show up on Sundays, you're going to get beat. And that's just how it is in the NFL. And in college, those games, some games at Notre Dame or even Northwestern, you kind of might not play your best football and still, be successful, on the field. But those games, you got to bring it. You got to learn how to prepare, study film, all that stuff. And I really think it translates well to the NFL.
Well, you've obviously experienced a lot and accomplished a lot to get to this point in your career. What kind of advice would you have for today's younger student athletes, especially the value of staying in school, soaking up the experience of college, learning as much as you can? What advice would you have for them that, something maybe you now, but you didn't know then?
The first thing, really just have fun with it. There's a lot of stress and anxiety with, the NFL and, the tape you put out there. But, worry about that when it gets there. Don't worry about the NFL too early. Take it one day at a time and really just pick something every single day, every single time you have the opportunity to step out on the practice field to get better at. Just don't look too far in the future. Stay where your feet are and just enjoy the moment. The NFL locker room is a lot different than the college football locker room. There's no doubt about that. So just enjoy those moments with your brothers. It doesn't last forever, so have fun and just work every single day to get better because the NFL is a hard league.
You mentioned the NFL locker room. How much banter is there in the locker room about college rivalries? Do you give each other a hard time when your schools play each other, or do you if your teammate went to a school, was off to a rough start? Do you any back and forth going on with that?
All the time. Notre Dame just lost to Marshall a couple weeks ago, and next thing you know, I get a group message, all the receivers from Cooper Kupp saying, talking a little trash about Notre Dame. So it's all the time, and then I'm able to give it out a lot as well. So it's a lot of fun in the locker room on Saturdays. We come in from walkthrough and the games are on. We can talk, a little bit of trash to each other, and it's a lot of fun. That's one of the things I enjoy most about the NFL locker room is just you hear people every single week. Someone's school is playing someone's school, so there's always chatter going on in the locker room, and it's just it's pretty friendly, but it's fun.
Well, you play in a pretty cool stadium out there, SoFi Stadium. You get to play in there, every home game. Super Bowls, been there. The college football championship is going to be played there this January. How cool is that building compared to other buildings you played in?
It's unbelievable. There's not really a building like that, and I don't know if you've been there or people listening. There's it's kind of like shocking when you first see it. It looks like a spaceship and feels like a spaceship. It's just a huge stadium. The atmosphere is going to be great. They do a really good job there, and I know in January it's going to be rocking, and hopefully we have an off day or something that day so I can get down to the championship game.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, Ben, I'm going to let you go. You've been great with your time. I know you got a game coming up this weekend. Thanks so much for joining us. You mentioned earlier, athletes at Northwestern maybe had to work a little harder. Maybe they weren't the highest recruited athletes. There are guys that play in the NFL like yourself that weren't, picked in the first couple rounds. So you've really had to work a little extra for everything you got. So I'm kind of drawn to guys like that. You're an easy guy to root for. So we wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
We're going to take a short break and be right back with the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl Executive Director, Jason Gannon. Stay with us.
The forecast for this tax season? It's going to rain refunds. Lots of refunds. File for less and get more with TaxAct, the official tax filing software of bowl season. Go to taxact.com to get started today.
Welcome back to the show. We now welcome the Executive Director of the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, Jason Gannon. Jason, thanks so much for joining us on the Bowl Season Stories podcast.
Thanks for having me, Nick. Happy to be here.
So you're not only the Executive Director of the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, you're also Managing Director of SoFi Stadium and Hollywood Park. So you're a busy man. Tell us about the synergy between all that you're overseeing and what the overall goals are in making it all run together.
Yeah, this is really a unique opportunity. The bowl game itself is an event that we own as a building and as a venue. So that obviously takes on a kind of a heightened level of importance for us. But SoFi Stadium, where the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl is located, is in the heart of what is a 300-acre entertainment district, Hollywood Park, in Los Angeles. And it's whenever it's developed over time, it'll have about 15 million square feet of development within that 300 acres. In terms of size and scale, it's about 3.5 times the size of Disneyland Park. It's the largest. The stadium itself is the largest stadium in the NFL at over 3.1 million square feet. So I think the size and scale is unique in terms of also where we're located. But it gives us an opportunity, I think, to draw a line, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, perhaps, but really draw on providing a unique experience for the bowl game, which is as I said earlier, something that we own and produce from a venue perspective. And so to be able to draw on all of those opportunities within the 300 acres, I think is unique.
Yeah, we just had, as you know, Ben Skowronek on as our first guest, and he was, I don't think he could even find the words to describe playing in that stadium, but safe to say he enjoys it, especially when he catches a couple passes like he did this weekend.
Yeah, he had a great game. I was tuning in. Obviously, we had having two NFL teams. We're a busy venue in the fall, and it was obviously always incredible to see our teams win, and we're very supportive of them. But one of the cool things, to your point about somebody like Ben, who plays in the NFL and plays at all the great venues throughout the country, one of the things that we find to be most rewarding about the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl is to be able to bring those college athletes into the venue, into SoFi Stadium. And one of the really, there are a number of rewarding moments throughout bowl season, certainly for us, but the first time for each of the team. Last year we had Oregon State and Utah State. To have those players go through a walkthrough at SoFi Stadium and just to see the experience and the look on their faces whenever they walked in was really cool for us, very rewarding. And obviously knowing that that's where the Super Bowl was played last year, I think elevated the importance of that experience for those student athletes.
Now, last year you added Jimmy Kimmel to the LA Bowl brand and tied in the power of ABC and Jimmy's popularity to give your bowl kind of a unique angle. What were you most pleased with around all the work you did last year with that?
Just the execution from the team perspective, and I say team, the people that we have on the ground. I think there are a couple of things. That was our first bowl game. So we opened SoFi Stadium in 2020, and we're able to put on the bowl game last year for the first time. I think just the execution and partnering with Jimmy Kimmel, as you can imagine, Jimmy is an incredible partner, ABC, ESPN family, and to be able to take his ideas, not only during the bowl game, we had the largest man-made T-shirt cannon ever, which was fun, and those types of ideas. We had, Jimmy the Camel was the mascot, to be able to create that awareness not only on game day, but partnering with Jimmy throughout the week was really unique, and it was great. Just being able to do something, I think that's a little non-traditional in the space in terms of partnering with somebody like Jimmy, and bring it to life in a way that really impacts not only the fans at home or the fans of Jimmy at home, but also the student athletes that play in the game.
And looking at year 2 of the partnership with Jimmy Kimmel, what are some of the goals and bigger steps you're looking to make in 2022? Any secrets this year that you're willing to reveal?
Nick, one of the things, it was always kind of funny. It's there was a lot that was on the cutting room floor last year for a variety of reasons. His creative team and Jimmy himself they have some incredible ideas, and I think one of the things that we're most excited about is I think we'll have a little bit more runway and lead time to be able to execute on some of those ideas. And Jimmy, listen, to be able to bring the student athletes to the filming of Jimmy Kimmel and incorporate college bowl season on the lead up each night was really exciting, and we're hoping to do some bigger and better things throughout the week with Jimmy.
Now, you've been with the Cronk organization for well over a decade now, working on all sorts of projects, overseeing many creative efforts. What's it like to work with such an innovative company with vision and a commitment to growth? It must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, listen, I say the exciting thing. My day-to-day is SoFi Stadium at Hollywood Park. I have an opportunity to work on a little bit more things outside of the 300 acres. I think, listen, this project, Stan Cronk, and his vision for SoFi Stadium at Hollywood Park was to create a sports and entertainment destination within the heart of Los Angeles. It's the entertainment capital of the world. To build a venue that would attract world-class events that wouldn't be coming to Southern California, but for Stan Cronk and his vision. This project is really a confluence of some of his expertise over the years, whether it's real estate development or sports entertainment, but also having championship caliber teams that play, obviously with the Rams winning the Super Bowl, and the Avalanche in Colorado winning the Stanley Cup, and several other championship efforts. And I think, it's really about, the teamwork within the organization and the people that really make a difference. And so obviously being a part of that is such a unique opportunity and gets me excited every day.
Well, you mentioned the people. Part of your leadership includes hiring some very creative people to make all of the planning become a reality. Tell us a bit about the efforts of your great staff and how important they are to the overall operation?
Well, I mean, without it, we wouldn't be able to pull off this bowl game without the staff. I mean, it's an event that we own, and by that I mean we stand it up 365. We produce it. Everything about the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl is done by our staff. And again, like me personally, I can't be all things to everyone, right? Would never even imagine trying to be all things to everyone, but having folks within our space to be able to execute in college football, in particular, was really important for us. I mean, Southern California is such a great football community. One of the things that strikes me, there are, you drive around neighborhoods on Saturday morning and there are all sorts of flags that are flying representing schools and being fans of schools. And we knew it was really important for us at SoFi Stadium to embrace college football. And we're doing that through the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl and obviously bringing on staff and team members to be able to pull it off. I mean, it's incredible. And Southern California has some of the very best people in that regard.
How involved is the bowl staff in the planning around the 2023 CFP National Championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great story, and that really college football bowl season kind of begins and ends at SoFi Stadium with the national championship game in January of 2023, and certainly we have a lot of folks that are working on Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl are also working on the planning and execution of the national championship game. That national championship game is a game that happens once every few years in a city like Los Angeles, and again that's a game that likely wouldn't be coming to Los Angeles but for SoFi Stadium being the venue that it is and being able to attract those types of events.
Well, Jason, we've taken enough of your time. Thanks so much for joining us. You certainly got your hands full. You're an interesting guy. You've worked in sports a long time, but you're still relatively new to the bowl business, and we're really happy to have you be a part of our world. So thanks for that, and thanks for joining us today.
Nick, I appreciate you and your time and your leadership.
And thanks to all of you for listening to this week's Bowl Season Stories podcast. Please join us next week when we will welcome another lineup of great guests. If you like the show, we'd appreciate you dropping a 5-star rating for the podcast. And as always, you can follow all the podcast and bowl season news on our website, bowlseason.com, and on social media @bowlseason. Thanks for listening.